My name is Emily. I was 23 years old when my life ended and restarted on the same day. That morning I was worried about an exam. By night, I was standing in a hospital hallway holding a doctor's hand as he told me my parents were gone. No warning, no goodbye, no second chance. My brother Ethan was 9 years old. He stood next to me holding my jacket. He did not cry. He just asked one question. What happens to me now? That question changed everything. I became his legal guardian, not because I was ready, but because there was no one else. I dropped out of university. I sold my books. I took 2 jobs. In the morning I worked in a cafe. At night I cleaned offices. Every paycheck went to rent, food, school, shoes, medicine. I told myself this was temporary, just until he grew up, just until life became normal again. Life never became normal. Ethan woke up screaming at night. He asked for our mother. He asked for our father. I learned how to cook, how to braid hair, how to sign school forms. People praised me. They called me strong. They called me inspiring. They did not see me crying in the shower. They did not see me counting coins. They did not see me choosing his needs over mine every single day. When Ethan was 12, he called me mom for the first time. I corrected him. I told him I was his sister. He said, "You feel like my mother." I smiled in front of him. I broke apart alone. I never dated seriously. Every relationship ended the same way. They said, "You are already married to responsibility." When Ethan turned 16, he promised me something. He said, "When I grow up, you will never have to struggle again." I believed him, not because I expected payment, but because I believed in love. Years passed. Ethan grew taller, stronger, more confident. I grew tired, quieter, invisible. I saved every dollar. I skipped meals. I ignored pain. At 38, I bought a small house. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. My name on the papers. My signature. My loan. I cried the first night I slept there, because for the first time in years I felt safe. Ethan moved in with me after college. He had a great job, a good salary, big dreams. I was proud. I told everyone my son had made it. He laughed when I called him that, but he never corrected me. Slowly things changed. He bought new furniture without asking. He invited people over without telling me. He talked about upgrades, renovations, selling. I reminded him the house was in my name. He smiled and said, "Of course I know." I trusted him, because why would I not? One evening I came home from work. My bags were outside. Clothes, shoes, old photographs. I thought it was a mistake. I knocked on the door. Ethan opened it. Behind him stood a woman I had never met. He said, "You cannot stay here anymore." I laughed, because I thought he was joking. He did not laugh. He told me the house was transferred. He told me the papers were done. He told me I should be grateful for everything he had become. I felt something collapse inside me. Not my future, not my home, but my belief in family. I slept that night on a friend's couch, holding a photo of us as children. I realized something painful. I had raised a man, but I had also raised his entitlement. And this was only the beginning. The next morning I woke up before the sun. My body hurt from the couch, but the pain inside me was heavier. I went to work like nothing happened. I smiled at customers. I served coffee. I acted normal. Inside I was screaming. During my break I called a lawyer. I explained everything, slowly, carefully. He asked me one question. "Did you sign the transfer papers?" I said no. "Never." There was silence on the line. Then he said, "This is fraud." For the first time since that night, I felt something other than pain. I felt anger. Not loud anger. Not violent anger. Quiet, focused anger. I started collecting everything. Bank statements, loan records, old emails, text messages. Every proof that the house was mine. Every sacrifice I had made. When the court papers were sent, Ethan called me, not to apologize, not to explain. He said, "Why are you doing this to me?" I asked him, "Why did you do it to me?" He said, "You owe me your life. You raised me. That was your choice." That sentence changed how I saw everything. I realized he did not see my love as love. He saw it as duty. as obligation. In court, he did not look at me. He looked confident, comfortable. His lawyer painted me as controlling, as emotional, as someone who wanted credit for kindness. They said I exaggerated. They said I was trying to punish him. When it was my turn to speak, my hands were shaking. I told the judge everything, not with drama, not with tears, just facts. How I dropped out, how I worked 2 jobs, how I signed every loan, how I paid every bill. I showed the forged signatures, the timelines, the truth. The courtroom was quiet. Ethan finally looked at me. For the first time in months, his eyes were not angry. They were afraid. The judge ruled in my favor. The house was returned to my name. The transfer was declared illegal. Ethan was ordered to leave. People congratulated me. They said justice won. But justice does not heal everything. When I walked back into that house, it felt empty, not because of furniture, but because of memories. I sat on the floor and cried until I had no tears left. Weeks passed. Ethan never apologized. He never called. I heard through others that he blamed me, that he told people I ruined his life. I stopped explaining. I stopped defending. I learned something important. Not everyone you sacrifice for will be grateful. Some will resent you for reminding them of what they took. One evening I found an old box. Inside were drawings Ethan made as a child. Stick figures, a big woman, a small boy. Written on one page were words, "You are my hero." I did not feel anger anymore. I felt peace, because I finally understood. I did not fail as a sister. I succeeded. What he chose to become was no longer my responsibility. Today, I live alone. In the same small house, I have boundaries. I have silence. I have myself. And that is enough. If you are giving everything to someone and losing yourself, this is your sign. Months passed after the court decision. The house was quiet. Too quiet. For the first time in my life, no one needed anything from me. At first, that freedom felt like fear. I woke up reaching for my phone, expecting a message, a demand, a problem to solve. There was nothing. I started noticing how tired I had been, not just in my body, but in my soul. I went to therapy, not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand. The therapist asked me, "Why did you give so much?" I said, "Because if I stopped, he would fall." She said, "And who caught you?" I had no answer. That silence hurt more than betrayal. One day I ran into Ethan at a grocery store. By accident, by fate. He looked different, older, harder. He saw me and froze. For a moment, we were just 2 people, standing between shelves. He spoke first. He said, "You really took everything from me." I looked at him calmly. I said, "Number." I took back what was mine. He laughed bitterly. He said, "You always wanted control." That was when I finally saw it. The story he told himself was the only way he could live with what he had done. I did not argue. I did not defend myself. I said one sentence. "I hope you learn how to love without taking." Then I walked away. My hands were shaking, but my heart was steady. That night I slept peacefully. Weeks later, I received a letter. It was from Ethan. He did not apologize. Not really. He said, "I did what I had to do." You did what you had to do. I realized something important. Closure does not always come as regret. Sometimes it comes as clarity. I stopped waiting for remorse. I stopped hoping for change. Instead, I focused on rebuilding myself. I went back to school, part-time. Slowly, I made friends, real friends, people who did not need saving, people who did not see my kindness as weakness. For the first time, one chose myself. I redecorated the house, not to erase memories, but to reclaim space, new colors, new light. One wall remained empty, a reminder that not every chapter needs to be filled. On my birthday, I lit one candle, not for wishes, but for acceptance. I accepted that love does not guarantee loyalty, that sacrifice does not guarantee respect, and that walking away is sometimes an act of self-respect. I am not bitter. I am not angry. I am awake, and that changed everything. Years later, I heard about Ethan again, not from family, not from friends, from a stranger. A woman sat next to me on a train. She noticed the book I was reading. We started talking. When she mentioned her workplace, my chest tightened. She worked at the same company Ethan once bragged about. I asked casually, "Do you know someone named Ethan?" She nodded slowly. She said, "Yes, he was fired last year." I did not react. I did not ask why. She continued on her own. She said, "He was accused of forging documents, property related. Someone reported him." There it was, the echo of the past, finding its way back. I thanked her, got off at my stop, and stood still for a long time. I did not feel joy. I did not feel revenge. I felt confirmation. The truth always collects its debt. Later that year, Ethan called me. For the first time in a long time. His voice was different, lower, careful. He asked how I was. I said, "I am well." He paused. Then he said, "I am struggling." I listened, but I did not rush to fix. I did not offer solutions. He finally said, "I did not know how much you did for me." I closed my eyes. I said, "I know." That was all. He did not ask for help, and I did not offer it, because love without boundaries is not love. It is erasure. After the call I cried, not from sadness, but from release. I had carried guilt that was never mine, responsibility that was never fair, and now it was gone. Today my life is simple. I wake up without fear. I eat without rushing. I rest without apology. My house is quiet, but it is warm. I no longer measure my worth by how much I give. I measure it by how much peace I protect. If you are watching this, and you feel seen, if you are tired, if you are carrying someone else's life on your back, listen to me. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to choose yourself. Love does not demand your destruction. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is let go. If this story touched you, share it. Someone out there needs permission to walk away. And maybe this is it.